I felt like I needed to spend a bit of time on Easy Street, so I took a job in Afghanistan. And the first thing I discovered about the place when I arrived in July 2009, was the aforementioned dust. Uruzgan province, dusty, fine dust everywhere, annoying. Second thing I discovered was, having attended the RSO and I course, the Reception, Staging and Onwards Integration course, and been driven by the ADF under the MNBTK, the multinational-based Tarrant Count, I very quickly came to the conclusion that the MEO, the Middle East Area of Operations, had turned into an ARE, an acronym-rich environment. Seriously, there were TLAs coming out of everyone's ARCs. You had a bunch of guys there from 1RAR, the Royal Australian Regiment, working within the... Oh, we've got some members. Working within the MRTF, the Mentoring and Reconstruction Task Force, all out there living on FOBs, Forward Operating Bases, or COPs, Combat Outposts, observing TTPs, Tactics, Training and Procedure, SOPs, Standard Operating Procedures, avoiding where possible AP mines, anti-personnel mines, IEDs, improvised explosive devices. And then within the IED category you had SIEDs, suicide IEDs, PPIEDs, pressure plate initiated IEDs, VBIEDs, vehicle-borne IEDs, DBIEDs, donkey-borne IEDs. Seriously, the Taliban are very innovative in their use of these mines, and including sort of daisy chain arrangements where one will set off another. And that was the other thing I discovered, was this combination of the dust and the IEDs was actually pretty deadly. On my first day in theatre, I attended a memorial service for a young guy from Springvale, Victoria, called Ben Ronaldo. As I got working there, in the headquarters of the MRTF, I got to know a few people in the INT cell, the intelligence cell. They call it the two shop, for reasons I won't explain now. But anyway, I got to know a bit more about what happened to Ben, and eventually read the Commission of Inquiry report into his death, which got me imagining a conversation between the colonel who wrote the report and one of Ben's mates, a guy called Paul. And that night I started writing this song. It's called The Dust of Uruzgan. In the ring they call me Warlord, my mother call me Paul. You can call me Private Warren when you're filing your report. As to how I came to be here, this is what I understand. In this hospital in Germany from the Dust of Uruzgan. Well, I had just turned 28 and just bought a new car when I joined the 1st Battalion of the big 1RAR. And we were next up for deployment into South Afghanistan to combat the insurgents in the Dust of Uruzgan. Well, it took 7 months of training just to get into the joint. There were push-ups and procedures, and there was death by PowerPoint. And then the RSO and I course in Ali Al-Salam. But nothing can prepare you for the Dust of Uruzgan. Me and Betty sat together, flying into Kandahar, and sucked back on our near beers in the Camp Baker bar. Then we were up at 05:30 and on the Hurricane out in 20 flying minutes, and we were into Tarrant Count. We shook hands as the boys ripped out from MRTF 1. Pretty soon we're out patrolling in the Afghan summer sun. walking through the green zones with a stire in my hand, body armour chafing through the dust of Uruzgan. Well, we started up near Chora, working 14 hours a day, mentoring a Kandak from the Afghan 4th Brigade, down to the Baluchi into eastern Dorashan, working under open skies in the dust of Uruzgan. Well, it's a long, long way from Townsville, not like any place you'll see. Suddenly you're walking through the 14th century. Women under burqas and tribal warlords rule the land. Full of goats and muck and jingle trucks is the dust of Uruzgan. And the education minister can neither read nor write. And the minister for women runs a knock shop there at night. They've been fighting there forever over water, food and land, murdering each other in the dust of Uruzgan. Yeah, there's nothing about the province that's remotely fair or just, but worse than the corruption is the endless fucking dust, fine as talcum powder on the ground and in the air, and it gets into your eyes, and it gets into your hair, and it gets into your weapon, and it gets into your boots, and when the bureaucrats all show up there, it gets into their suits, gets in the machinery and foils every plan. Well, there's something quite symbolic about the dust of Uruzgan. Still, the people can be gracious, and they're courteous and smart. And when the children look into your eyes, they walk into your heart. Face each day with courage, and each year without a plan, beyond scratching for survival in the dust of Uruzgan. But the Taliban are ruthless, keep the people terrorized, with roadside bombs and hangings and leaving letters in the night. And they have no useful vision for the children of this land, but to keep them praying on their knees at dust of Uruzgan. Well, it was a quiet Saturday morning when the two-shop made a call on a compound of interest to the east of Kopmashal. We had some information that they were building IEDs, and so we cordoned and we searched it in accord with SOPs. I was on the west flank picket, propped there with Ben, there to keep a watchful eye out while the other blokes went in. And we knew the signs of danger from the TTPs we'd learned, but the Nationals were moving back and forth without concern. I've been standing still for hours when I took a quick step back and kicked a small AP mine, and everything went black. I woke up on the gurney, flat out on my back. I had to ask him 7 times just to get the facts, that I lived to tell this story through a simple twist of fate. The main charge lay 10 feet away from the pressure plate. You see, the mine was linked by det cord to a big charge laid by hand, hidden under Benny by the dust of Uruzgan. I was a Queensland champ Thai boxer. Now I look south of my knee, and all I see is bed sheets where my right foot used to be. Benny's dead and buried underneath Australian sand, but his spirit's out there wandering through the dust. Through the dust of Uruzgan. city of my birth. And some go back to Ballarat and some go back to Perth. I'll be living with my mother who's still trying to understand why we're spending blood and treasure in the dust. The dust of Uruzgan.